Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, everyone. We will wait till 8:03 to get critical mass.
Hey, Anu. Hello?
Okay, we've hit 8:03. Let's get started. I'm thinking folks will join in with time. Is Cliff on the call? Not yet. So I was hoping to start with an update from Cliff. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
We
you.
can hear you.
Okay, because I can't. Can someone say something? Because I can't hear any.
Yeah, hey, Anu, I have an open if you don't mind.
What did you say, Tafik?
Oh, I have an open. I can go quickly through
Oh,
that.
sure. Yeah. No, that's great. We can start with the opens before we get to the topic at hand
Right.
today. So go ahead, Tafik.
Yeah, so I sent an email. I think I responded to this mail list. I don't know if you got it, but we have a workshop at ISCA 2025 in Tokyo, Japan. It's about data center energy efficiency. So just want to make sure if you guys can publicize or if you're interested to submit or even serve on the committee, but that's basically my open is request for help. I did send it. I don't know if you got it. I responded to the.
I'm trying to see in my email. Or maybe it's in my OCP email. Let me go check. But you
Maybe if
respond
you send,
to then everybody else should have got it too, maybe.
I responded to the, like list. So I don't
My
know
agenda, yeah.
if that works. If it doesn't, if you could send me your email, I'll send it to you and maybe you can post it.
Sure. I'll just email. I'm gonna type my email in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Tawfiq. So there's Tawfiq advertising. And when are the dates for that?
June 21st
In Japan?
in Japan, in Tokyo.
Okay.
Oh, I got your email, so let me see if I can send it right now, actually. If you want, we can flash it a little bit if you want.
I can definitely do that.
Yeah.
While we're waiting for the email, anyone else have an open? I think Mona Lisa, you sent me a note last night.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was just kind of you can think about it as a logistical email. Just trying to find things and
having trouble finding things?
Yeah. Just going through the maze, like going to the wiki, and I just had some recommendations actually. And in terms of just tagging or putting, trying to go to old recordings and seeing, and you've been off for like some time, it's without knowing what the meeting is about, it's very difficult. Like just
I
3-4
agree.
bullets, like how sometimes in well organized YouTube channels they have like at this time it's like this, not to that precision, but
Yeah.
at least I gave an example from Alan's HPC subgroup where he'll just have uh what were the topics covered, though at least you can see that and say, oh yeah, this video I want to look at, and you can then manage the what you want to see. That
Okay.
was kind of the main recommendation. And the other recommendation was in the groups.io.
Mhm.
I when I look at the files and the database part, I don't see anything, and it was just an idea that I had and I wanted to kind of note it down, is that can some of the sort of key presentations, etc., from the wiki or some kind of database, if it's managed, can be brought into that. But I don't know about the IT burden of such a transfer.
Yeah,
So
what I would do, Mona Lisa, is I will take your email to the tech guys, the IT guys at
yeah.
OCP. But
Mm-hmm.
the one thing you pointed out, which would be very valuable, is to actually have the topics covered, so that somebody wants to look at, hey, what we're talking about today, they actually know which video to go to, which
Yes,
recording to see.
yes.
I
I mean,
fully
that is,
recognize it's a very frustrating. It's kind
yeah,
of like sometimes you download stuff from a conference, and I've done this before with the ECTC, and you get this complete jumbled jargon of
yeah,
titles, and you
yeah,
have to sift through each one of those 150.
yes.
No, yeah, no, I
And
recognize
maybe,
that.
and maybe you have more like patience. I'm like going through, I would say that for a big conference, any 3-4 day conference, by the time I'm in the second day, I give up. It's
Yeah,
like I can't do this. It's very difficult without a high level, at the highest level. I know that's why I mean I really appreciate all the, it's all voluntary, but in terms of I've seen those questions come as well, and they are also my questions, like where can I find the recording?
yep,
Those kind of things. And I gave example of the HPC because that's the one where every time I have a big gap, I can go back and look at that Word document with just the highlighted minutes, and oh yeah, I want to see this. That's it. It's just
that's
a
fine.
simple
Hey,
organizational thing. Yeah. That's all. Yeah.
Elko, you were saying something, or
no, I was just going to suggest that maybe if there's more discussion on that, to take it offline with all the people on the call.
yeah, for sure. But I wanted to note the pain factors here. Okay, so I'm putting up the ISCA meeting as requested by Taufik. I'll send it out to the group again, but this is what it is. It's June 21 to 25 in Japan. Okay, now I am going to stop sharing if I can figure out how.
I
Yes.
encourage you again, all folks to submit, and if you like to serve on the TPC also, just direct message me, let me know. But yeah, please take a look at that. Is there any way you can distribute it,
Yeah,
Anu?
I will send it out to the mailing list that I have.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Of course, not a problem.
Tawfiq,
Okay.
sorry, Tawfiq, can you add your email in the chat window for people to?
And the chat, certainly, let me
Thanks, and
do. How do I do that? That should be,
Oh,
chat.
yeah, there's the chat somewhere in the bottom. Yeah. Okay. Let's get to the topic at hand. Oh, wait, Cliff is here. Cliff, anything you want to tell us before we get to our workstream discussion?
Let's see. I think two things, maybe. The EMEA summit that's coming up at the end of April. We did have 2 papers related to chiplets that have been accepted. We've created a larger track on IT infrastructure, and it'll be presented as part of that larger track. So we do have a little representation. In fact, I think Tony from Siemens will be presenting on CDX as one of the papers. The other thing I wanted to let everyone know is that we are moving forward rather quickly now with the OCP APAC Summit coming up in August. Well, it seems far away, but it takes a long time to get to the point where we have credible content. And the call for papers, I believe, is going to open middle of March. No, actually, yes, I'll double check that, but I think it's middle to late March that we're going to be opening the call for papers for that. And we are looking to establish a program committee. We've invited someone from ASC. We've invited someone from eTree and to help be the program chair for the silicon and photonics track on packaging. And sorry, I made a mistake there. I meant to say the track on chiplets and advanced packaging. And we're hoping to have a full day of content. So please, everyone, pass the word around. Think about putting in a proposal for a paper to speak in Taipei in August. Thanks.
Thanks, Cliff. Okay, let's move to the topic at hand. I think 2 weeks ago.
Maybe a quick question. Can you send the URL, to the event or some?
I'll drop a link in the chat. There is a web page already up.
Thank you very much.
Okay. 2 weeks ago, we started talking about, we talked about this, I think, internally even earlier than that, but Durgesh put together what the challenges that he's facing. And then we had a little discussion internally to try to see, how do we go about these? What are the key focus areas to overcome some of these and enable methodologies or practices or whatever in place for a more seamless integration, not just from the PHY hardware level, but all the way up to the software level. And so Durgesh has some more detail in that, where we're trying to break it out into these are the high level pieces. Some of them overlap what some of our other work streams do, and some of them are new. Wanted to get feedback, wanted to try to build a scope based on what everybody thought was important here. And so I'm going to let Durgesh do the needful. He is kind enough to put all of our names, but it was really Durgesh who did 99.99% of the work.
Yeah, thanks, Anu. You're too kind. So Anu was helping championing this effort for us just to navigate and see what we do. And just to take 30 seconds, she found Rich, who will also help in the process. So Rich, do you want to do a quick intro to yourself? I think this is your first meeting.
Yeah. Hi, gang. My name is Rick Klinger, and I'm interested in participating in this. I've got a lot of broad background in software, PCB hardware, and ASIC hardware. And most recently, I am taping out a high-speed interface in Global Foundries 12 LP+. Yeah, I like to participate in things, and I broaden my horizons and network, and I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you.
In addition to Rich, we've got other folks like Quinn, Cash, I can't remember who else, but I put together an email with a few folks who are also interested in being part of it. It's never late to join. This is just some initial discussion we've had, so feel free to be part of this, and if it interests you and we think we're going in the right direction.
Okay. Thank you, Anu. So this is the proposal which Anu has been helping to put together. Jawad is out on some family emergency. So the goal is this work stream will try to address some of the multi-vendor chiplets, which I was talking about. If you make chiplets in-house, all chiplets within the company is easier because you know each other and you define based on the architecture, microarchitecture, all the information you have. So kind of is a broader right now, but as we go through and make it more formal, then we can tighten the focus areas. But interoperability, at least from my experience, was big, and Rich was also mentioning those things. Security, power efficiency are some of the items. And when you have cross-chip data movement, then how do you make sure you still have the performance? So as OCP motto, we are not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's UCIe has done a lot of work on say security. POW has done a lot of other such work and other OCE groups. So we're trying to leverage it. It's just trying to put together like-minded people who have faced the problems and try to try to address the problem. And this is again a part of the Anu's and Jawaz's OCE working group under server, if you're not familiar with that structure. So I know I saw some questions coming in and I'll go in full screen mode, but I just cut and pasted from the wiki that there are already under OCE. These are the working groups which are there. And these are for reference because we were going through and see where are the overlaps, where we can take help from the other work streams so that we can collectively try to solve this problem. So I don't have to go through in detail, but this is just here for completeness for sure. So Anu, I don't know if you want to add anything on this slide specifically. I just took it from your webpage.
Yeah, no, we're good. Just please continue.
Okay. So now coming to the things which we have discussed in past. So this is more a system level. So again, want to reiterate, not at the die-to-die interconnect. I think multiple groups are doing very well on UCIe, BOW, and there's a lot of progress. This is started with multi-vendor where there are 2 or 3 independent companies trying to put together a package. And some chiplets already exist and some are being built, especially like compute. If you look at it, compute tends to go on the new process nodes because it requires more power, better performance efficiency, which is performance per watt. And there are secret sauces, like say in automotive, they have certain things which they don't want to reveal that will remain on older process, but it will be there. And IOs are generally 1 or 2 generations behind. So that's where the whole focus or concern, or I would say some gaps exist. And that's where we should try to address that and see how we can work on it beyond the interface and make it easier for the ecosystem to build up. We already touched on interoperability for almost all the segments now. Like when we say edge AI is growing, security has become extremely important. And working across various chiplets, especially if the data isn't clear, which means that from one chiplet to the other chiplet, the chiplet has to decrypt the packet or data and then re-encrypt it. That becomes a challenge because then you have to decide whether it's in trust boundary or not. So those are the things at higher level we have to address. Power, performance, thermal, because at chiplet level, we do a lot of work, but how do we all put it together? That has to be seen. Then testability and debug when everything is put together. So I just put as a question mark whether the test work stream is already looking at it, so we don't have to address it. But this is one of the things which definitely should be looked at somewhere. And then streamlining manufacturing and lifecycle management. This is more or less goes not the first phase we can look at, but there are other problems which happen, especially in data center. One of the problems which groups are looking at, that you are decommissioning certain servers, and there are hard drives, there are memory and other components. Now, if you have to recycle, how do you recycle it? So that's a little bit more niche, but overall, in general, putting the manufacturing and life cycle management together would be useful as well. So I want to pause here and see if there are questions. Okay, feel free to interrupt and ask questions right away. Please don't wait till the end. So last time there were 10 items I put together based on MIPS experience. They were by no means comprehensive. And the goal is, as we form with the right experts, we will add the areas where there are problems or how and where we can facilitate. So these are the things which are we are putting together as a starting point, and to get the discussion started, and then we can enhance it or remove certain things wherever there are duplicates. So one of the things which came up is, of course, the security and reliability across multiple vendor chiplets when there are different process nodes, different geos also, which makes it even more complicated. So how do we make sure the data security requirement, which is going up and up, is addressed across chiplets? How do we encrypt? Where would be the hardware root of trust? Because these days the chips have 5 or 6 root of trust for each, you can say, unit or component, and then there is one which takes care of all of it together. Then again, for reliability, ECC is extremely important, automotive, data center, robotics, almost all the segments. And then there's stress mitigation, aging. So if you look at the automotive and industrial, they have long life support, and the working conditions, the temperatures are extended temperatures. So all those things are impacting the chiplets. So again, the goal was to highlight the problems and then leverage the existing groups which have worked on these and try to see if there are gaps that we try to fill it. Otherwise, as OCP, we can just put it together as a bigger picture and how and where as a one-stop shop kind of thing. So I want to pause again here before I go to next slide.
Yeah, I've got a question, and I apologize for putting you on the spot. I should have asked you a couple days ago, but are you familiar with the NAPMP? It's part of a CHIPS Act funding, and one of the areas is the chiplet ecosystem. And this topic about security and reliability is in one of their research areas that they're going to fund. And let me ask you, are you aware of it?
Yes. So we did look at CHIPS Act and as a company, and then also at OCP level, BAPI came and presented. So I'm aware of it, but I am not aware of any outcome or a spec or anything. Maybe they're just starting.
Yeah, there was a NOFO, Notice of Funding Opportunity, that was published last fall, and the
Yeah.
papers were due, and then the review cycle happened. And but one of the areas that they're looking at in the chiplet ecosystem, and they're hoping to improve on, is the security reliability. And a lot of the stuff on your slide is in the research area, including some others. What I think I'll do is I'll go through and make a summary of what they're funding. And why I think it could be useful is to look at what they're attacking, and maybe there's some points in there that we should also include here.
I think that'd be awesome. That's
Okay, I'll do that.
great. And since you have a lot of experience with working with government as well, um, what I have observed is they solve the problems which is way further down. So that helps us to even think through some of the problems which we have not even encountered today.
Yeah, I agree. I'll do that and send something out to the group.
Yeah, thanks. Any other comments or questions?
Hey, Durgesh, it's Cliff. Just to let you know, from my perspective and having looked at the PMP, this is a pretty good list of things to tackle. The only comment I'd have is it almost feels like this is big enough to be the mandate for a work stream on its own.
Yeah, Cliff, I agree. And that's where your guidance and I know would be useful. I totally agree with you because when I was in UCIE representing NVIDIA, security and reliability was one of the subgroups, but that's the one which end up meeting twice a week kind of thing because the number of topics and opens are way too many.
So, Cliff, you hit the nail on the head. This this presentation that Durgesh is making has multiple different areas. Some of them each could spawn their own work stream. some of them could be divided and put into other work streams. For example, the test work stream, some of when you see the next slide. So I think the goal here is to try to understand where we're already working on pieces, and if we can add to those, to the scope of those work streams. And if not, do we need to start one or two new work streams to get these focus areas covered? So it's all in discussion, Cliff, and you make a good point. This could well be its own work stream.
Okay, great. Thanks, Anu, for the clarification.
Yeah, so Cliff, feel free to keep continuing to provide the guidance so that we can do it in the right way. The second topic was, again, may appear as a catch-all, but integration and performance. And again, this could be very skewed from my experience. So again, as we go through, we should make it more comprehensive and complete. And I'm sure there are a lot of other experts who can add to it. So this is again not comprehensive, but a starting point for discussion. So this is power and thermal, because every chiplet, and especially when there are companies who want to build catalog chiplets, which means you can order it, they make it for various segments, market segments, automotive, industrial, data center, others. So there are different requirements. So if there are such inconsistencies across various chiplets, how do we address it? Is there a common spec which could address at least the superset, and then some of the subsets could be defined separately? Then is the modular is scalable? Specifically just to understand, like in some cases, there's one chiplet, but you can replicate, say in AI case, if you have a small edge, you may have one chiplet for AI, but if you're going in the far edge, you may have 4 chiplets of AI because you can do more computation, you have less power and thermal constraints. So modularity and scalability would be a good areas to discuss. Dynamically, how do you manage the power? As we know, with the growth or explosion in the data center, this has become extremely important topic. And working across multi-vendor chiplet is the main key item to be addressed. And then on the performance side is really the data movement, which I said, which also spans across security, but in general, that if there are things we can think through or define that how data from one chiplet moves to other chiplet and go back, that kind of things is important. If the chiplet is directly sending the data outside the package, then it becomes easier because then you exactly know what the chiplet is doing. But when there is an interaction or dependency, that's where the performance tuning and other challenges start showing up. Again, heat dissipation, thermal throttling kind of things is important because generally the hot spots are not uniform across the chip. There are certain spots and require more dissipation. But if you're looking thermal solutions, currently they treat it as the whole chip level. But I've seen where now things are going more at spraying at the package level and others. So it'd be good to start looking at for the chiplet level as well. I've observed most of that innovation happening in the GPU level just because the power is so high.
British, would this call for a very early on feasibility analysis, which basically means you need to get some kind of modeling from all your chiplet vendors?
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. And within the chiplet, the thermal profile, and then you have to see how you package it, and who does it is a different story, whether it's OSATs or one of the company takes the lead. But yes, the thermal profile, placing the chiplets in the package and how the package will look like, that kind of analysis is required. So any kind of standard to that would be useful, or a guideline or principle.
Yeah, no, you know, a lot of times what I've seen is early on thermal models are basically lumped power.
Yeah.
Which is quite useless,
Yeah.
especially if you're trying to figure out hotspots. So maybe you got to do a little bit better than that. So
yeah, another challenge which is here. So this was very early feasibility study we were doing. So there were 3 chiplets. One had all the compute like floating point, integer, vector, and matrix for AI. And the other chiplet, 2 chiplets were like system kind of thing, and other was security chiplet for a specific need. Those 2 were not um, dissipating that much power. They were addressing more of a bulky traffic. So just placing them and making sure it's uniform across the package is also a challenge. Otherwise, you just want to have one chiplet on the north and other 2 on the south because they're smaller. But that was not working out very well just from the dissipation perspective. Other the cooling strategies and co-packaged cooling solutions, this ties into the previous one, but there are a lot of such work we have observed in the industry and papers. So this could have some overlap with the HPC, Louisa's group, and definitely we have to see what she is looking at or her group, and then if something is missing, we can add it. So this is more of a broader topic, and then we can start narrowing it down. So let me pause here before I go to.
We're not seeing your slides. We're seeing you, handsome as you are.
I can see the slides, Rich.
Yeah, no, I see.
Same here, no problem.
Double click on the
Really?
slide in the Zoom. Sometimes it swaps. So double click on the slide and it will make it bigger.
Yeah, I'm just seeing everybody. I'm seeing the speaker.
You might have to rejoin.
Oh, there's a tab at the top. I'm sorry. That was operator error over here.
No problem. Okay, so feel free to stop. I'll continue. This one is a bigger topic and definitely needs more experts in it. I have personally less experience. I know Rich has a lot more experience on this, and Anu has, so we can definitely enhance it. But again, as you start putting multi-vendor chiplets together, then how the BIST will work, how the fault isolation, debugging will work, because now these chiplets are dependent on each other. And then reusability, all of those above that, how to putting the chiplet together. The chiplets will be tested at chiplet level. Till that, the vendors are very familiar with the test patterns, debug. But once it start getting put together, and a chiplet is made, that's where there are challenges and coordination and expectations mismatch, which start showing up. And again, some of the traceability, which I was talking about. So this is a more starting once you start building the chiplet and package until you deliver to a customer, these are the things which are showing up. So again, as you see, put as open as that this could be part of the test work stream if they are already working on it. But these are the opens or the issues, the challenges across multi-vendor chiplets.
Yeah, this is the part that I thought the open that he has is, can this be addressed in the test work stream? Rajesh is not in the call today, but I think we should get together with him and look at the scope that they've built. I'm fairly certain he did talk about more built-in self-test and packetized test and new methodologies that are coming along to enable this across the industry. So we should take this one up with them and see if the scope matches along the way. I don't know about the lifecycle management piece. And it's funny, I just saw this the semiconductor packaging news article about multi-die design complicates data management. Somewhat relevant from what I'm seeing here today, and I understand that. I just don't think we're addressing that in that work stream either.
So what we did was the problems which we talked in this working group, as well as talking to others, we put in 3 big buckets, just for easy to manage. And so this was the third item. So first was, of course, the security and reliability. Then we talked about the integration and performance across the chiplet, and then manufacturing testability and scalability to get the discussion started. And the next steps would be, I guess, Anu, you have to guide through that as we meet further. We can define the deliverables and milestones. Um, and the first meeting probably will collect all the other opens from the experts who are here as well as who are not here, plus maybe even ask some of the UCIE, BOW guys to also participate to collect all the problem statements and categorize them and then come up with deliverables and milestones. So this was my last slide. Anu.
Yep. No, thank you, Durgesh. So I think, we've got a high level idea of what's needed. The question really is, I guess, how do we go about it? How do we define our scope and as Durgesh said, collect all the problem statements and put it together, and then leverage from work already being done. So I wanted to actually have people like Quinn. Quinn, you've been part of this group and looked at these issues, I think, for quite a while. Value any feedback you have.
I'm not sure exactly what you're looking for. These are important and we should continue to do this.
I think I was looking for more of, through our brainstorming, sort of divided it into these 3 high-level pieces. Are we overcomplicating? Are we oversimplifying? Have we got all the right pieces? How do we divide it up? And really the logistics of how to proceed, right? What are the next steps? We've defined a whole lot of issues here. What happens next? I mean, I could take up the issue of let's go talk to the test guys to make sure we have that. Let's talk to the security guys. And I'm happy to even call some of the guys who do the security and manageability at UCIE for them to tell us what they do if they're willing to. And if that's okay, I don't know the rights and wrongs here. Cliff will advise me about that to see if they've already got it, then we point people in their direction as a methodology and a process to follow. So just trying to understand what people are thinking at the end of this.
Anu, if I may suggest, I would suggest that at least one meeting with like the 3 or 4 names you suggested and few other as a focus group to collect all the problems and maybe rebucketize it if needed, but collect all the problems so that it is broader and then we can start zooming in. That would be very useful.
Okay, that's a good suggestion. So when I'm building a focus group, I want to make sure I have all the right folks who want to be part of it.
Yeah.
So this Cash is on the call, was on the call.
Yeah, I thought he was. Yeah.
Yeah. Quinn, would you like to be part of this focus group working on?
Yes, I'd be happy to.
Thank you. And then Rich, of course. Is there anyone else who would like to be?
I know this is Itai from GSOC Solutions. I would also like to participate in this group.
Thank you, Itai. I know Boone, you already sent me a note. Boone is going to be part of this.
I'm writing my mail in the chat.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Hey, I know this is Anshu. I just joined. Can you give a 5-second recap of what the focus of this group would be?
The focus of this group would be to try to figure out what are the questions we have to answer. What are the problems we're trying to solve? So collect all of them. We've divided into 3 high-level buckets. Are those the right buckets? Do we need to do something different in how we address them? That's as a first step. The second step is how much of the work is already being done by other people that we can leverage. How many of our work streams address pieces of it, like the modularity could help us, the test work stream could help us. And then at the end of it, what is left over and what work streams do we need to address those?
Okay. I'd at least like to initially be part of it if I can.
Yep. Oh yeah, everyone can be part of it. We, and then at some point we figure out what are the subgroups and then who wants to be leads on those to take things forward.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments?
I think it'll be important for this that we really time box it. Because we can't go forever down these paths, right? So I think the real trick to be productive here is to give ourselves a fairly tight time box and say we want, this organization phase, we should only do 2 meetings and try to get it locked in.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the issues is going to be just trying to get all of these people together at the same time. It's always been challenging even within an organization to get people together. So in that being said, Quinn, the first meeting we should try to set up possibly for next week, right?
Yes, I think that would be good.
Okay. I'll put together an email and suggest a few time slots. I am traveling to Phoenix most of next week, so it's going to be a little tight because when I'm in Phoenix, I just meet everybody and I have no time for lunch even. But we'll try to find a slot because Phoenix is still an hour ahead of the Pacific Coast, so we might be able to fit something in the evening. So I'll send out a few time slots today and we'll try to set something up. I think that sounds good. There is some urgency here, right? We've talked about it a few weeks. Let's get started is what you're saying.
More importantly, when we get started, let's have an end that we have, best effort in a finite amount of time, because otherwise these kind of conversations, it's too easy that they kind of keep going because you can never get the perfect answer.
Yeah, I agree. It's the spiral of doom. I understand. Let's put dates to it and just nail down, to the best of our knowledge at this point, this is what we think are the issues that need to be solved, and then go from there. I like it.
Hey, whoever was presenting, I don't know if it's Durgesh, can you share the more detailed slide which had like bullet points on it?
Yeah, we can, I'll send it to Anu and she can include it in the website unless you have immediate question right now.
No, can you just present, put it on the screen if you don't mind?
Okay.
I think. If difficult, then that's not a problem. They can look at it.
No, it is not. It just, I'm just reopening. I closed it, so I'm reopening.
Cliff, any recommendations for us on how to go about this, other than the plan that we have to try to meet next week?
Yeah, thanks. I know. I think actually, I think the plan is good to look at. Just like you said, I wouldn't recommend anything different. You've got a set of problems identified, and I think I would first take a look and see which ones you can slot into the existing work streams, and then see which ones are of enough scope to be an independent work stream. I think that's the path you're headed on, and it seems like the right one.
Okay, that's great. And then along the way, if we can collect more fellow travelers, which I have a feeling there's going to be more, we'll just add them in because we do need more volunteers to get this.
Well, what we can do once if we launch one or two new work streams, or we do an expansion, we can do some sort of outreach to the community on our mailing list,
right.
And talk about the expanded work scope of certain work streams and some new work stream launches, and write a little piece about the open chiplet economy and send it out and invite people to join the calls.
Yeah, no, makes sense. That seems like the right way to go. Okay, so here's a slide on SHIP, and
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Durgesh, and thanks, Anu.
yeah.
Anu, is it worth mentioning the fact that we had a request for thinking about another work stream that's not mentioned here?
Yeah, no, sure, go ahead, Cliff.
Yeah, well, I don't have a lot of detail. We have a call, I think, next week,
That's
but
right.
our AMD reached out to us because they're finding that there is a certain level of firmware required with chiplets, and there's no good place to house it right now, and they want to see if they can bring that to OCP. And so we're certainly set up to handle firmware, and we would also be able to potentially add a security component to the firmware.
Right.
So we'll have the conversation next week, and that could be another work stream that's not covering any of these issues here.
Yeah, so in my email back to Rob, I mentioned that we're looking at doing something like this, which is sort of an open-ended one because we haven't defined it yet, and maybe that is one piece also, because the whole idea is how do we get methodology standards in place, so integration all the way up to software level, from hardware, firmware, software, is as painless as possible, to include things like test and reliability on the way, to get to all the way to the top of the chain.
Speaking of NAPAM, Anu, one of the things that we did include in some of the projects I was part of writing the concept papers for was the concept of a hardware abstraction interface layer on top of the silicon. And so that parallels what we have done in data center switching, where we have that kind of interface, so that at a higher level now, you can have a switch that could have different silicon, one from Broadcom or another network vendor, but not have to go and change Sonic OS on top. That
right.
There's a mapping at the abstraction layer. And one of the things that we had in our vision for the future, imagine you have hundreds of chiplets together or thousands in a computing complex. And at some point, you'll have different versions of the computing complex for different high performance computing algorithms or different AI algorithms or whatever you want. So we're moving towards a world of specialized processors. And depending upon what is the chiplet configuration in the specialized processor, you don't really want to have to rewrite your entire software stack from top to bottom. And so an abstraction layer is something that we might want to consider in this project at some point. This may be premature, but I just wanted to throw that out as another idea that's been circulated.
See, so so just to understand, Cliff, at a chiplet level, an abstraction for the chiplet itself, or at a higher level for the system?
Well, we see this at the lowest of the system level. Perhaps it might be at the firmware level. It might be just above the firmware level.
Okay.
You have to define the problem, but the idea would be you could have a system in package with a different chiplet configuration, and maybe substitute one for another, or be able to virtually assign certain system in package processors to a particular problem on a dynamic basis, and not have the software be able to map from one configuration to another. It's a high-level concept, and nobody's worked anything out on it. It was just something put forward as part of one of these concept papers.
No, that's actually, so that's really interesting. I think Raghu's on the call. So Raghu, from the modularity team, the ultimate goal is to try to provide some kind of a reference architecture or form factors for multiple chiplets to build a system. And now that system has a specific application, and that could be abstracted, right? That could be so that you can change the chiplets underneath, but the people at a higher level don't have to worry about what's going on. And so that could be a model for it.
Could be, yeah. Right? But the first part, what you said is right. But I don't think any of us, and especially speaking for myself, I don't think we have thought about the second part that you mentioned.
Yeah. No,
Can
no,
you
I just
abstract
thought
it
about
out?
it now when Cliff mentioned it. Believe me, all of this is like on the
Okay.
fly ideas. It's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like far too many ideas and no solutions is my name of my game. But I just thought that would be really cool, a secondary piece to that, right? If you've now
Yes.
defined the physicals, you've got the form factor, you've got all the chiplets in. Now, how do you abstract that to create this higher level model so people can use it successfully without going through the pains of saying, holy crap, they've changed all of these pieces underneath. Now I got to go figure out what's going on.
Correct. I agree. Definitely a problem that we need to go tackle, right? I don't think we are even there yet right now in there. We're still trying to figure out the value prop and the performance versions of the.
Yeah. No.
So yeah. So yes, but yes, absolutely true.
I totally agree. I just feel so much more cleverer today. Thank you, Cliff. I just feel smarter all of a sudden.
No problem. It's easy.
Hey,
to
while I'm here,
idea.
while I'm on, I think Durgesh, is anything you want from the HPC AI modularity? Just let me know. I mean, I can help you connect the dots there. Durgesh and Anu, if you want anything.
Raghu, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the best should be the first meeting, which Anu is going to send out.
Okay.
Join, then we can collectively collect the thoughts as well as just grade where they are covered better, those kind of things. So
Okay.
join the first meeting.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, Raghu, do you want to be part of this focus group to start with?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just sign me up. As I said, I wanted to not be spread too thin. I wanted to just propose to say, Durgesh, if you want some help from the what has been done or what can be connected to the HPCI modularity workstream, I've been an active participant out there, so I can be one contact point for you. But
you know, it would be a lot of listening. The beauty is all of us come in with a different level of expertise at different places in this ecosystem. And so I think it's very useful to at least listen and bring up relevant issues. So I'll put you in. I understand the concept of spread too thin. I feel that every day.
Okay, sure, no problem.
All right. Okay. Any other opens from anyone else? Thank you, Durgesh. Really appreciate it. I will send out an email today. We'll try to set up a time for next week and get this going. In the meantime, Cliff and I will talk to the AMD guys again next week and see what they're interested in, what they want to do, and then advertise that at one of the next Friday meetings.
Hey, Anu?
Yeah.
Hey, one more request for future meeting, and if it fits in this forum, that'll be great. But there was this heterogeneous integration roadmap IEEE meeting a couple of weeks back.
Yeah.
Would there be any advantage to hear what they have covered big level and what applies to the OCP work streams? Just a suggestion, if it's like relevant to this forum to hear in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, a lot of things that the HIR do is very relevant to us. Cliff is very closely connected to the HIR. How would we go about it? Would we get a speaker from there to cover topics, or?
Yeah, I think so. Do you have an idea who we would bring in? Someone that could summarize the impact?
My problem is I don't, and I didn't actually attend that meeting, but what I can do is I can email Bill and ask if he has a suggestion.
Yeah, I would do the same actually. So either one of us, or if you want to email them, copy me and I can help as well.
Yes.
So if I can interject, so I attended the HIR meeting all 3 days.
Oh, great! Yeah.
John Schaff ran, or organized a bunch of sessions, so he would be one good person if he has the time. And then George Raghu from our modularity meeting, he was there too.
Oh, good. I know George and John very well, so that's great, Anshu. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Anu and Cliff and Anshu. Yeah.
That's a good point. Let's try to get them in.
And sorry, while we are talking HIR, so there was a multi-chip design presented by somebody from Penn State, Raghu, and I mentioned that to George and John, saying, which had a defined function, which is what we were looking in the modularity substream, right?
Yes.
So I said, that could be one of the possible considerations.
Super.
And
Thank you.
I'll
Thanks,
stop there.
Anshu has been a great proxy for us, a representative for the whole OCP out there, from my perspective. So thanks, Anshu.
Sure. Thank you.
All right. Well, we have we're going to finish 5 minutes early. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Thank you, Durgesh, for the presentation, and everyone for your inputs. I will send out a note, and then feel free to contact me if you want to be added in or you have any questions. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks, Anu.
Thank you.